I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. Stop agreeing with yourself. Stop agreeing with yourself. Hello and welcome to Glass Half Full Reviews, because a bad review hurts less than a punch in the face. Today I will be reviewing Journey to the West. Journey to the West is director Stephen Chow's third movie after the criminally underrated, hilarious martial arts comedy Shaolin Soccer, which, although it's really kind of rough at times, is just, it's a treat, a visual treat, and just ridiculous in terms of its comedy. This was followed by Kung Fu Hustle, which is just superb. It's been described as Looney Tunes come to life, but I think it's better than that. It's just an amazing movie that really delves interestingly. Now I'm sort of getting into trying to review another movie. Let's just say it deals with Chinese principles in a way that I think are really excellent. Alright, so Journey to the West. What is it? Well, Journey to the West is actually a really famous Chinese novel from the 16th century. This novel has been adapted many times, but this one is a little bit more of a prequel. It's sort of like what happens before the story. When Zhang plays Xuanzhang, who is the main character, he's a wandering monk who's basically a demon hunter. He's trying to find demons, but he's not your typical demon hunter. No, this is a guy who, instead of just trying to kill them, he's trying to reform them. And this is one of the really interesting things. It kind of delves interestingly in a light touch into Buddhist principles, but that I think that it's really something that can seem kind of interesting and appealing. This idea of, hey, maybe these people can be redeemed. Maybe even the worst people can be redeemed. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people. Xuanzhang is wandering about the countryside and runs into some town where a giant fish demon is attacking and eating people. Well, time to save the day. So he pulls out his trusty book of nursery rhymes to try to casually sing the monster into a state of submission. Maybe it doesn't quite work, and he's rescued by Miss Duan, who's played by Shu Qi, who you might remember from the Transporter movie where she played the object. Miss Duan is instantly interested in this character. Xuanzhang is actually thinking about working things from a different angle. This whole redemption angle is certainly not something that she's ever thought of. It's all about, how do we kill this demon fastest way? And that's it. That's all she's thinking about. So she's really attracted to this guy, and he's maybe intrigued, but thinking, nope, that is not the way of a monk. I've got to be celibate, go on my own. And so there's a little bit of interesting tension there. They have these two different approaches, but that's not all there is to it. That's not the entire dynamic. So he's off, trying to do his best against hunting down more demons, trying to redeem them. Maybe not doing the best job in all cases, but he does his best. And, let's just say that they decide they need help. So what do? They seek out the Monkey King. The Monkey King is played by Huang, and he's essentially the king of demons. And he was sealed on Earth by the Buddha because, well, he's the king of demons. And is he filled with trickery? Maybe. That's not really the point. The point is the excitement, the crazy visuals. Stephen Chow is known for mixing sort of cartoonish elements with martial arts, and it totally comes off here. It's just filled with these crazy, absurd visuals that are just like, whoa, really? That just happened? Sometimes it can get kind of a little intense at times. So is this movie as good as Kung Fu Hustle? No, it's not as good as Kung Fu Hustle. But man, I really enjoyed myself watching this thing. It tells some really interesting ideas, and I really like the angle that it took. I think, yeah, it could be a little weak at points. Sometimes it can be a little slow. But once you get to those action scenes, it's just go. Boom. And I really like the portrayal of the Monkey King as well. It was an interesting take on it. It tries to make it seem more sympathetic. To me, a lot of this seemed like a personal kind of movie for Stephen Chow, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes people who have personal movies, it fails terribly, and sometimes it really works well. I like what came out of this. It seems like a movie that could set itself up for an interesting sequel. I mean, of course, the story is quite well known, and It really does lend itself to that. I don't know that I need to see a sequel to this, but I wouldn't mind seeing one. Alright, let's do my 5-point breakdown.
5-point breakdown.
Alright, so what about the acting? I mean, it's pretty good. There's some really creepy, demonic people here, and they're all pretty good. The lead, of course, Xuanzhang, he does a great job here. He kind of plays this interesting, conflicted character who's really just trying to do his best, but maybe that's not good enough. And Shu-Chi is just kind of all over the place here. I mean, sometimes she just gets really clownish, but it really fits within the vibe of the movie because then she'll get over to something a little bit more, okay, let's go kick some ass. And that's when it gets fun. And I've said it before about Huang Bo, I really liked what this guy did with the Monkey King. He was really kind of interestingly insidious, interestingly sinister. I liked a lot how they did with this. Alright, what about the story? The truth is, the story is quite simple. It's nothing that's really fascinating per se, but I really like what they did with it. It goes in a direction that you're not quite sure where it's going to go, and if you didn't already know how the actual journey to the West story is, you might be thinking, oh, what, that happened? Whoa. So I really like that. I really like the ending. Obviously, I'm not going to give that away, but it really works. Alright, we're all thinking it. What about the look? Awesome. Stephen Chow has only gotten better in his use of visuals. Sometimes things look a little, well, I should say, sometimes things look a lot CGI, but that's the charm of this thing. I just really love the way this movie looks. It's filled with really exaggerated movements and exaggerated fighting. This is a good movie to watch. Alright, how does it feel? Man, after this was over, I thought, that was a good movie. That was a good movie. I enjoyed myself. It wasn't as rollicking a martial arts epic as, say, Kung Fu Hustle, or just sort of as fun to watch and ridiculous as Shaolin Soccer. But that being said, it had some interesting things going on there beneath the surface. Some talking about redemption and sacrifice that really is kind of interesting. It's not quite the same as some of his other movies, although there are some aspects of redemption and sacrifice in both of his other movies, but it's a different sort of thing. This really delves down to the core. This is real Chinese values here. I think it works pretty well. Alright, how does it matter? Or does it matter at all? You know what? I love this guy's movies. He's only done 3 movies so far, and there isn't a bad one yet. Of course, there have only been 3, but that's still pretty good. I really want to see what this guy does next, and I hope it doesn't take him a lot of years before that happens. Originally, he was supposed to work on that Seth Rogen Green Hornet movie, but, well, that fell through, and it didn't end up so well. But whatever he does next, I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be pretty great. So, right now the movie is available in really limited release, but it's also available to rent on iTunes and Amazon, and I'll put the links below. So, I would say definitely, if you like martial arts stuff at all, go see this movie. If you like Chinese stuff at all, go see this movie. And you know what? If you don't like the kind of martial arts subtitle thing, this may not be your thing. Wait till it gets dubbed. Then watch it. So I guess what I'm saying is you should watch it. Alright. Thanks for stopping by.